About 10 years ago, I worked at a small gas station in rural Georgia. I was 26, a mother of two, just trying to make ends meet. It was a mid-morning shift, and for the first time, I was working completely alone. My manager was out sick, and in a town this small, you'd think you were safe. I was wrong. A massive transfer truck pulled in. Not for fuel, just for a break. The driver walked in, a tall man with eyes that felt too heavy, too focused. He asked for a coffee refill. I pointed him toward the pot, keeping my voice steady. But he didn't just get his coffee and leave. He started talking. Arkansas, his delivery route, his life. I just nodded, praying for another customer to walk in. Then he asked the question that made my blood run cold. "Are you working alone?" I lied instantly. I told him my coworker was just out on an errand and would be back any second. He didn't blink. He just stared. For the next 20 minutes, he refused to leave. I could feel his eyes on me through the gaps between the potato chip bags. 6 times he asked where the restroom was. 6 times he stayed exactly where he was. He wasn't looking for a bathroom. He was waiting for the moment I was alone again. I saw a regular outside on a forklift. When he finally walked into the store, I didn't say a word. I looked him dead in the eyes, my heart hammering against my ribs, and mouthed the words, "Help me." The regular didn't hesitate. He charged into the aisle and slammed the stranger against the Coke cooler. "Get out, now," he roared. The driver didn't argue. He scrambled out, jumped into his truck, and vanished into the Georgia heat. An hour later, the police returned. They had caught him. He had no delivery. The truck was empty. Inside the cab, they found a stolen pistol. But the detail that haunts me most, he was a convicted rapist, a fugitive who had just skipped parole. I quit that job a week later, because that morning, I wasn't just a cashier. I was a target. I was 19, living in a semi-large city in Ontario. I'd just got my first car, a manual, and the novelty of driving stick hadn't worn off yet. It was 11 p.m. I'd just finished a workout and grabbed some groceries. I also had $120 in cash in my wallet, money from my mom. I decided to take a long drive before heading home, a decision I almost regretted for the rest of my life. I pulled into a gas station on the industrial edge of town. It was deserted, or so I thought. About 200 meters away, in an unlit empty lot, sat a dark SUV. The engine was off, but I could feel something wasn't right. As I started pumping gas, a woman appeared from around the corner. She was walking straight for me. I didn't think twice. I locked my car instantly. She had a raspy smoker's voice. "I got in a fight with my boyfriend and he left me here. Can you give me a ride to my mom's house?" She repeated it, word for word, like a broken record. Her eyes were sunken, bloodshot, and dead. She grabbed my passenger door handle and tried to pull it. "Unlock it. I'm cold," she demanded. Her face was covered in thick makeup, but it couldn't hide the nasty sores on her lip. I walked inside to tell the clerk, but he just shrugged. He didn't want to get involved. When I walked back out, that SUV in the lot, it had started up. It was positioning itself at the exit, waiting. My mind raced. The woman wasn't upset. She wasn't cold. She was the bait. I realized I'd left my phone inside the car. She started screaming now. "You said you'd drive me home!" I'd had enough. I went into fight mode. "Get the fuck back right now," I roared. She stepped back, her eyes finally showing a spark of something, maybe surprise. "You better get out of here right now then," she whispered. That was it. I hopped in, peeled out of that station, and didn't stop until I saw a police cruiser 3 subdivisions away. The cops told me there was no crime, but they knew what it was, a lure for a robbery, or worse. What haunts me isn't the woman, it's the SUV, the driver who never showed his face, just waiting for me to unlock that door. If you're ever at a lonely gas station and someone asks for a ride, just keep driving. I was 20, traveling home late from Boston on a Sunday night. My phone was dead. I dozed off and woke up to an announcement. In my foggy state, I jumped off, only to realize it wasn't my stop. The doors closed behind me. I was stranded in Quincy, 3 stops away from safety, in a station that was utterly deserted. Or so I thought. Down the long, thin platform, I saw him. A tall man in his 30s, standing abnormally still under a single light. I sat on a bench in the shadows, hoping he wouldn't notice me. He was rocking back and forth. Then I saw the white and red cane. A blind man. I felt a wave of relief. But that relief didn't last long. He walked to the very edge of the platform. His toes were literally hanging over an 8-foot drop onto electrified tracks. He started swaying violently, then dancing. I stood up, about to shout, about to save a life, but then he stopped. He walked back to his spot, turned his head exactly toward where I was sitting in the dark, and he smiled. He started coming toward me. He was walking right on the edge of the warning track, eyes slammed shut so tight it looked painful, and that gaping, farcical grin like a game show host. He got within 15 feet and stopped. Then he started making this soft, coy laugh. He unzipped his pants and started jumping up and down, his eyes still closed, still facing right at me. I was frozen, paralyzed by the sheer bizarreness of it. The last train of the night finally arrived. I didn't wait for it to stop. I sprinted. I jumped into a car with people in it and didn't look back. I don't know if he got on or if he's still there. Eyes shut, smiling at the empty tracks. I've been jumped before, but this was a nightmare in broad moonlight. If you're ever alone at a station, remember, not everyone with a cane is looking for the way home.